Hi guys, this is Mr. Holding, and this video is quickly looking at your second prac task for 9 Science A, the one on energy and food. Okay, so I'll go through this very quickly and refer you to some additional materials that'll help you out. So, like always, your front of your task sheet gives you an experiment. So you'll be performing an experiment to calculate the energy in a given number of food substances. You will then use this information to complete a scientific report. So that's what we're doing. Okay, if you look at JAC Plus, and go to chapter 3.8. This is the prac that we're doing here. It's investigation 3.7, measuring the energy in food. Okay, so that's some of the information you'll need to get to go from. There's your diagram there. The method has been taken from here. Okay, so won't go through this too much, apart from the fact you need to read through it. Here are your conditions, your task lengths, 300 to 500 words. You've got a week to do it, and these are the amount of lessons you've got. Okay, this is the standard assessment policy that you need to sign and hand in, and then we start here. So the very first thing you're going to have to do is write an introduction. We didn't do this in the last one, so this one is, we need to work on this to make sure we do the best job we can. So before we start, it's key to look at the marks. There's 6 of them, so it's a big part of your assessment here. Three marks for the key points, which are these 3 questions here. So what is meant by energy, and how does food act as an energy source? Define how the different types of food have different energy contents. Okay, so fats versus carbohydrates versus protein, and describe where the energy from food is stored in the body. So I would expect to be seeing you talk about carbohydrate, how it's stored and why. Fats, how it's stored, and proteins is how it's stored as well. Okay, so you need to talk about those. You've got a fair amount of space there. Okay, so you'll be able to fill that. 2 marks for in-text referencing. Okay, so in this, I would expect that you have at least 3 to 4 references, okay, done properly, and also a mark there that you followed a logical format. So you haven't simply just gone question 1 to question 2 to question 3 and no linking between them, that you've actually linked them. To do that, you need to write your information, source your information, write it down, and then do a lot of proofing and editing. That means you're going to have to read your work and rewrite it multiple times. Okay, that's something I suppose as men we tend to do not as well, so you need to work on that and avoid simply just putting something down on paper and assuming it's going to be okay. Okay, the more you read it and the more you rewrite it, the better it's going to flow and follow that logical format, which is really important. With regards to referencing, I'm going to post a video on how to reference using Word, and I strongly suggest that you use that. All right. Next thing you need to do is the aim. So what is being investigated in this experiment? Okay, there's a bit of a hint down here, because generally your hypothesis is based on your aim. Okay, so having a read through that, it says a hypothesis states that if all other factors are equal, then food with the highest fat content will be stored. So we want to know what we're doing this assignment for. Okay, what is the purpose of you writing this? Doing the experiment, and it's to do something. It could be to calculate, to investigate, to determine. Okay, so what is the aim of this? All right, given the fact that it says here that all other factors equal, and the food with the highest fat content will store the more energy, generally the aim is to find something out about the food and the energy content. Okay, so you need to come up with an aim that talks about those things and tells me or tells your reader what you're doing this experiment for. Always starts with to. It's 1 sentence, very short, very clear. All right, your hypothesis will be done for you, as is your material, okay, and your diagram here. Now, you can come up with your own diagram, but going back here, you've got one here. It doesn't have to be elaborate, but it has to be clear and to the point. Okay, so fill the space here. You've got a reasonable amount of space here. Don't just put your diagram in the corner here. Don't just do a freehand rubbish diagram. Use a ruler, use a pencil, label it. Okay, label it means arrows and instructions to what's happening, what the different apparatus are. Okay, your method is done for you here, so you don't have to worry about that. But then your results table. Now, what I'd suggest is having, and I'll talk to this about this in class, is have this filled out before you come to the experiment. Okay, over here, this is your table here. Okay, you need to copy that in there. Okay, so use this, copy it across there, put the calculations in, all right, write the examples down there, do it as neatly as possible, okay, because this is where you're going to input your results. So it's good to have that done before you start the experiment, because the last thing you want to be doing is trying to fiddle and work out how things are going. If you walk in with your tables done, you're organized, all you've got to do is just pop in the results and go from there. Okay, your sample calculations. Now this is one area that's typically done not too good. These are some of the calculations you need to do. Okay, so to work out the energy in food, joules equals 4.2 times 30 times whatever your answer for E is, which is going to be here. Okay, so E is D minus C, so the final temperature minus that. Okay, you need to demonstrate, not all of them, but some of them, and show how you end up with some of the results in here. So you may choose to just do all the calculations for the biscuit or the chip or the pasta, whatever it is. Don't do all of them, but just give me an example of how you got one of these. So maybe do all the calculations for the biscuit in here and show me how you did it. Okay, that's what we do there, and that's what you'll be marked on. Finally, we've got your discussion written. Okay, so the answer is there. You can read that through that in your own time. Okay, and then the second one here. Finally, you need to write your conclusion. Okay, conclusion is a summary statement of what your experiment found. Okay, so you might turn around and say, results of the experiment showed that these particular foods contain the most energy. It should link with your aim, okay, and essentially answer your aim. Okay, you also need to refer to your hypothesis as well. So what did it find, and did it match your hypothesis? Okay, it doesn't have to be very long, 2 or 3 sentences to the point, answering what you found. Did it match your hypothesis? Okay, so that's it. That's your assignment now. We're going to, there will be another video posted, as I said, about how to reference, and also an example of how the experiment's done as well. But you'll do that in your own time. Okay, I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, come and see me in class.